not really a long time ago, but it was just like during my service year where I wasn't where I had to work with data basically at work, and then I realized, oh, I there's actually a lot to learn as regards this. And then doing some little research into the world of data, I was able to find out that there is definitely a lot to learn. And then finding the opportunity at Octave Analytics was a great thing for me as I was able to dive into it, and to God be glory, I'm a part of it now. So I would really like to know more and then also be exposed to different possibilities, to different knowledge that could be gotten from data analysis generally.
Okay, thank you so much, Oluwatobi. So I think we have Richard Olayoju. You're the next person on my list, so you can go on.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Richard Olanju, a graduate of Industrial Chemistry from Bowen University. Before coming on the program, I work as a business process analyst in the public sector. So my interest in data analysis came up when the company I work for got a project to work with one of the candidates in River State's governorship election. He said they wanted a data-driven campaign. So I was working on the proposal and I saw the way they were using data to analyze the campaign, local government by local governments, and they did a predictive model on how to target their campaign. Maybe they want to share money. This particular party is popular in this states or in this part of the state. So I discovered that there's a lot to use data for, even in physical environments. So I started doing my research and I got to know about the analytics graduate program. Then I enrolled. So that was my journey into data analytics.
Thank you, Richard. I think we have two more guys who haven't spoken, so we'll come back to Hubert. I don't know if he is on. Hubert, you can actually speak.
Uh, Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Hubert Matisse, graduate of Petroleum and Gas Engineering from the University of Port. My desire for data science started out. Uh, I don't know. I didn't really. Okay, okay. In my industry, the petroleum and gas engineering industry, where I've had several experiences, is one with 1,001 data, sound, seismic data, pressure data, all over, like every single sphere of the oil and gas industry has to do with data. And there's great need for optimization of these data. So the industry also happens to be one with the most number of uncertainties. Before you drill your second well, your first well that you drill, you probably don't even know if there's oil there. So what I'm trying to say is, I'm someone who always constantly looks for means and tools and ways of optimizing and improving the way I do things, the way I operate, and the way operations are done. So this is one thing I've seen that data science is here to do to help us optimize our skills, help us optimize our resources, our data, in with the opportunity to also improve production and also improve the way we operate. So yeah, this is why I came and I chose this path, and most especially the analytics part, which helps us to improve based on the insight we get from our data. So yeah, the more insight we get, the more we have the opportunity to reduce the uncertainties in our industry, the more we improve our optimization skills, the more we improve production, and the more we work perfectly. So yeah, that's the reason why I chose data analytics.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Hubert. So, I don't know if we were done, so we can start. Go into the business of the day. Hi, Temitope.
Yes, sir. Hello,
Hi, so
sir.
can we start? Are we
Of
done
course,
with
yes.
all the
I do have one more
Okay.
person though.
Oh, who's the person? Can we just have the person so that we need to be fair? So
Okay. Okay, sir. So yes, Adedeji Adetoro, you can just quickly share your own views and stuff. So yeah, you have the floor.
Okay. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Adetoro Adedeji, a graduate of the University of Lagos. I studied marine sciences. Okay. The drive for me has been the amusement in drawing insights from numbers. Sometimes seeing a set of numbers just dumped somewhere feels like rubbish somewhere to me, but it's just amazing that really from that rubbish sense or insights can be gotten from it, and really that's the drive for me. I love making insights from numbers. I just love to see numbers. I just know there's something behind this number, and then okay, wow, let's go. That has been it for me basically. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Aditi Jadetoro, and good afternoon once again. Temitope did introduce me earlier, so let's just go to the business of the day. So the good thing is that in this session we have people of diverse background, okay, which makes the class a bit more interesting. And what I need us to understand is analytics, all these industries we've mentioned, whether it's oil and gas, whether it's logistics or meteorological, all deal with data. At the end of the day, even the work step we take from our respective home to the office, or from our room, respective room to our living room, generates data. So that means we live in data as we are today. And the good thing about all these things is that now technology has been so much advanced that all these our steps can be recorded, and analysis can be made from it. I'll give you a scenario. So I have an iWatch, and there was a day I sat at home on a chair watching a Netflix movie for like 3-4 hours. At the point, I just got a beep saying that I should just stand up and take a minute, or stand up for like a minute, because like the watch notice that I've been inactive for like 2-3 hours. It shows that all my movement right on that chair is being captured, and analysis of stuff is being done on it basically. So I want us to see, have something at the back of our mind that whatever we do, we generate data, and that data is being transformed or being managed or turned into information to make decisions. So a case study we'll be going through today is within the financial sector. We all know what the financial sector is. We talk about the bank, and we all know the one reason why banks are there. Any business we do today is either you are making profit or you are running an NGO. So it's either it's a profit-making organization, or maybe running a charity. Either it's a profit or non-profit organization. You can only classify industry into two. It's either it's a profit-making or non-profit organization. A bank is not a non-profit organization. A bank is a profit-making organization. In having that at the back of our mind, so what banks are out there for, or what financial industry, people in the industries are out there for, is to make profit. And how do we make the profit? In the olden days, if you have an account in Lagos, they will tell you that account can't be used in the bank's branch in Kaduna, because systems weren't connected. But with time, all this changed and became a thing of history. That once you have an account in Lagos, you can open that account in Kaduna, even Maiduguri or Kwara. So the days that you open account in the small town and you can't make of that account, when you get to the city, you have to open an account. That over time, that era and technology advancement abolished that. And as that was being abolished, data became more open to all and sundry within the financial space. That means a customer can open an account maybe during his or NYC service, maybe in Maiduguri, and after NYC, the account becomes more active in Lagos. So you look at it from that side, that the demand of that person during NYC, what the bank is serving that person during NYC will have changed over time. But maybe the person is now married, or he has other things he or she is doing. So things move on, and then so basically banks are in the business to make profit. And when in the business to make profit, you think of a factor or different things you need to do to ensure that that profit comes in, and also ensure that you pay your shareholders dividends. Because without them, the bank will not even be in existence, because they are the ones that have brought in the idea and have dropped their hard-earned money to set up a structure that we probably see that we call bank today or call financial industry. So one thing we now need to know is how do we go about this revenue making? Okay, different ways we can go about it was that the first thing we need to have at the back of mind is we need to have access to this data. And having access to this data is this data will have been captured somewhere for a data scientist or a data analyst to go in there to analyze, to explore, and churn out information. So I'll give you a simple example. Most of us here are fresh graduates. Our demands today will just be, let me get a job. When I get a job, I can start planning my life. I need to get married. When I get married, I have a kid. I need to start planning for mortgage. You can see that as we transcend, as we move from that age bracket, our needs keep changing. The same way you expect your bank or the organization you deal with to be able to meet your demands as you grow older and as your revenue or income line increases. So I'll run us through some basic opinion slides, okay? And I want the class to be interactive. So when I talk, I might just call on people randomly to get their own opinion of what has been discussed, because I want it to be interactive. It's not just for me to come and talk for 2 hours or 30 minutes and then we'll go back. There won't be any memory of what we discussed. So today, I'll pick a use case within the banking industry, which is around segmentation. There are a lot of use cases we probably could pick for analytics in banking industry. Okay, let's pick the let's pick this use case around segmentation. So I will share my screen with us now, and then we can go into this. So I don't know if you can see my screen.
Yes, sir.
Can you see my screen? Okay.
Yes.
Segmentation in financial industry. Okay, good. So so if you see what we have on the screen here, where we said segmentation came from the word, a Latin word, segmentum, means what? A strip or a piece cut off something. So from our understanding, I'll call on people randomly to just tell me if you've ever heard of the word segmentation before, because I want this section to be interactive, not just for me to come and talk. So as we progress in the session, I'll ask random. I will call on Adedeji Adetoro to tell me what he or she understands his own understanding of our understanding of the word segment, because it's something that we use loosely and I know we've heard of segment. So what do you understand as segment? Adedeji Adetoro.
Okay, thank you for the question. Yes, dividing or probably smaller units. Maybe having a set of customers, dividing them based on probably location or the type of good they purchase, or any factor the company wants to use. But I believe segmentation is just dividing into groups or units.
Okay, yeah, thanks a lot. And I think that at least if I'm to explain that to my 2-year-old or 3-year-old son, that's what I would just tell him. That okay, segment is just trying to cut things into pieces, trying to break things into smaller parts. Okay, so we're saying segmentation is to divide something into separate parts or sections. Okay, and for something things to be divided into, that means there will be shared similar characteristics of it. So as we are today in this session, we can have like 3 or 4 segments within us here. We can probably say people that study computer science belong to a segment. Okay, people that studied petrochemical or petro science or anything that deals with petroleum belongs to another segment. People that study maybe pure biosciences belong to another segment. You see that within this session, we have created like 3 segments. And what is it that we have in common? One, we belong to the same session. That's the segment. If I don't belong to this class, I'm not part of. I can't. It will be hard for you to link me up to say I belong to this segment. Okay, and for me to have belonged to this class, I'm also part of the class. So you can take me out as a segment and say this segment is for the facilitator today. Tomorrow, you probably look at something similar that I share with other participants in this session to group me into another segment. But as it is today, you guys are in segment of the attendance, where Tomtope will probably be a segment of hospital with other other team members in the office. I'll probably belong to a segment of hospital for this session. If we're more than one, probably 2 facilitators. I don't know if my point is clear around what segmentation is. So the same concept we have today is what we should have at the back of mind when we start discussing or when we go into banking industry or any industry we find ourselves. It's not necessarily banking. If you look at segmentation in other sectors, it could be telecommunications or it could be another sector. It could be maybe the logistics in a sector. Segmentation is nothing but what? Moving things into separate parts or sections, and these things most times share similar characteristics to make the grouping more meaningful and something that you can really relate with. Okay, so why do we build segments? That's the question. Why do you think we need to build segments? Remember I said something earlier that organization can only be one, a profit-making organization or a non-profit making organization. Banks are profit-making organizations, so we don't need to deceive ourselves. So why do we segment in banking? One is to increase the competitive advantage we have over our peers. So we have to cross and upsell opportunities. So someone has maybe an ATM card or someone has a car. You can now say we want to offer another product to that individual. Another reason why we do this is to be able to address specific customer needs. Today, if I'm working and I have a salary and I receive salary regularly, my bank should be able to look at what can they offer to me. Can they offer me a home loan or maybe offer me a car loan, because they know there is something they can use to back up the loan, which will act as collateral. Or can they offer me a credit card because they notice I travel regularly, then I'll probably need money and at times I might run out of cash. So can they give me like an overdraft line where that will allow me to draw beyond my account balance should in case I run out of cash. So information will help us to address specific customer needs. Or you are a male and you keep getting mail messages from your what's it called, the service provider, you sending you things around female needs. You can probably look at it, what's the problem with them? Or someone that is a male sending a mail to that person to go and stock up for the maybe maternity needs or stuff like that. Another reason why we segment is it gives us opportunity to identify new products that our existing or potential customers could be interested in. So we look at it. We look at this scenario as this person already benefits or enjoys this product. Based on the trend of other people that have been using this kind of products, we should be able to offer this person product XYZ. So during during NYC days, most people then, because we run out of cash, we go ahead and do borrow me credit. Okay? And what happens at the end of the day? You notice that after a year, you see that the people that are protected with that product have moved on because they have an improved salary or income line. Don't subscribe to that borrow me credit again. But we start looking at trends that people that move from this bucket to this new bucket, what is it that they now subscribe to? So if you notice that they start subscribing for additional ATM debit cards, or maybe they start subscribing for some petty or smaller retail loans, we can now use based on that trend and data that we have and offer people that move from that previous category to the new category. And also based on you can use it to identify new customers that we can onboard based on data that we probably get and harness. So that's the high level of why we build segment basically. I don't know if you can still see my screen. If you can't see my screen, please let me know. Hello.
I can't see your screen, sir.
Sorry, you can't see the screen. You can't see the screen.
Please, once my screen goes off, let me know, please. Right? So that means you didn't see what I've been explaining since.
No, we saw that one.
Can you see it now? Okay.
No, not yet.
Okay.
Not
So can you see what we have now?
Not yet, sir.
I've changed the slide.
Not yet. I can't see the slide.
No, sir, I
Can anyone
can't.
see?
I can't see the slide.
You can't, right? Okay, let me
Yes.
kindly hold on, please. Kindly hold on. So, any lock now? Any lock?
Not yet, sir. Not yet, sir.
Strange. Kindly hold on. Okay, so I've switched my network. Kindly hold on.
Yeah.
So let me know if you can see my screen now. Can you see it now?
Yeah, I just saw it.
I saw it for a while and then it disappeared.
Okay, it's up now, right?
So,
Can you confirm?
Yes, it is.
Okay, thanks a
Yes,
lot
sir.
for that. So the next so what I have here is segmentation, and I put in that exclamation mark. Okay, and the first point you need to notice, and you need to take notice, to carry out any form of activity is more. We need to have the right data. So to create any model or any analytical model, the bulk of the work that will be done will be done at the data gathering analysis before even start thinking about which variables you want to pick or which elements you want to put into my model or start which model do I need to use. The main thing we need to focus on, which might take, if you're looking at 100%, it might take like 40-50% of your activity or 60%, is getting the right data in place. So to create the right segment data, is required. And this data is related to customer attributes behavior. So I give you an example what I'm like. So example by customer attribute. I as a person, one of my attributes probably will be age, my gender, my income band, my educational details or status, whether I'm a graduate, whether I have a PhD, whether I'm a medical doctor or and stuff like that. Okay, so most user segments have been built around this basic demographic data over time, using variables like age, gender, income, and educational details of users. This worked to a small extent earlier, but in the current trend is no longer relevant in today's digital age because people don't want you to provide them based on their age, based on their gender. I won't appreciate people offer me something based on the fact that I'm a guy. Okay, I want you to offer things to me based on looking at my behaviors or trying to even track the kind of activities I do on the internet or maybe on my website or my browsing history or other stuff like that. Combine with other things, or we get some external data that other people have used in time past to predict or offer me services. So in banks today, what you see national bank will do, which we still do today, to be frank, is the first set of segment built will be around age, your gender, your income, your personal details and stuff like that. So if you look at it today, most banks will tell you they have a private banking unit or something called HNI, high net worth individual. What they've done categorically is to tell that within our customer base, we segment our customer base to retail, to high net worth individuals, to the general mass market and stuff like that. How has this been arrived at? It's nothing but using the income band or your transaction volume. How much do you deposit, or how much do you have in your how much do you have as a balance in the account? Okay, how much do you have as a balance in the account? How much have you withdrawn the course of the month? How much have you deposited the course of the month? So based on that, we segment you to say this particular customer is an high net worth individual, and there is a flaw there, because if you as a person today, if one of your parents happen to be an HNI, the chances of you, the offspring, being an HNI is 90 point something percent, because they believe that it's the same household. Is an assumption that will be taken. So if today a Dangote is an HNI, by default, all services offered to Dangote as an HNI, as high net worth individual, will be offered to all Dangote's offspring or siblings that they really tie to Dangote. So that's why you see that this basic demographic data, using these variables, is no longer sustainable. But these were the elements that were used to start the segmentation journey, basically where we are. So even if you get yourself in telco, things that probably be used at times might be things around the recharge history, and maybe the number of calls you make, how long you spent, or your balance, or your account, your airtime balance and stuff like that. Or maybe your geographic location. Is this customer based in the north? Is it based in the south? So that's that. So this worked to a small extent earlier, but it's no longer relevant in today's digital age. Customers should be segmented based on digital behavior, and then tailor products and services that can satisfy their needs. So if you look at it, type of customer segmentation basically. So today, in the traditional financial industry on the bank, remember I made mention of the way we categorize customers using some basic demographic information and stuff like that, where we say this customer is an HNI, or this customer is it should be a private banking customer, this person is a mass market. This happens to be the normal segmentation that we know today, and is loosely used in financial industry to probably say a customer belongs to an age band. Because you belong to an age band, say if I belong to an age band of 30 to 40, the chances of the bank offering me a car loan or a mortgage home loan is high, because they know that's the active time you have. They expect you to be a salary earner, and then they know that okay, you'll be able to meet up with your equal monthly installment. That means your monthly repayment on the loan. So another one is the predictive segmentation. This incorporates the use of AI-based algorithms to locally segment customers based on certain factors such as the buying propensity. So in this case, if you bring in an AI or algorithm or machine learning in to probably do your predictive segmentation, this machine learning will go into the data to even help you as an individual discover some trend that you never spotted, or people that have some things in common. So in this case now, you're not looking at demographics to say this person is of this age bracket, should to buy this person lives in the north. Because he lives in the north, he's most likely a retail customer, because he might not have access to a lot of things and stuff like that. Or this person is from south, because from south, there will be access to fund, so we should to give this person additional loan and stuff like that. But if you're going using predictive segmentation, you apply your machine learning models or AI based algorithm. Those algorithms goes into the system to explore and even discover hidden patterns that you as an individual might not even spot using just going to your normal or data that you have. So here what I've done here is to look at typical customer segmentation in a bank. So looking at the normal segmentation, I give an attribute, say age. Okay, then I'll probably tell you based on my age band, there is likelihood that between 30 and 40, you probably take a mortgage loan. So it's something straightforward. All I just do in this case is put in all these different variables together and then start categorizing customer based on age and other things and previous. So this group of customers of age bracket 30 to 40 should be able to access my mortgage loan. Or I say, okay, or I look at my database and try to categorize the customer into different segments to say salaried and non-salaried customer, self-employed, non-self-employed, a medium scale enterprise and so. And now form the product to say, I want to offer my salary customers a digital loan against their salary, like an overdraft. In that case, I know I'm using my salary, the customer salary as collateral. So these are traditional or the normal way of doing segmentation that started in banking before the advent of AI and other and advancement of technology basically. Then we look at the predictive segmentation. What this segmentation does is nothing but incorporate the use of AI-based algorithms to automatically segment customers based on certain factors. Like I said, such as the buying process. So I give you a scenario. A customer subscribes to product A. Then the customer is being offered other products based on subscribed products and attribute of customers that have once subscribed to that particular product. So it's a case of today maybe I have a mortgage loan running, or I have a car loan running, and based on the historical trend or data that they've gone back to analyze in the past and see that the system and the machine learning model have turned out, they noticed that the chances or chances or probability of someone running a mortgage loan, having a car loan, and that stuff to apply for credit card to the bank is almost got 90 to 100%. So that is the type of predictive segmentation we have here. So I will just take a break now and call on one or two individuals basically to ask one or two questions to know that at least we are on the same page, so that it won't just be a case of I've been the one just doing the talking and we've just been listening. So I just want to call on the individuals, just capture one or two points that we discussed so far. So I'm just going to the group to see individual's name. 1 second. Okay, there was one name. Is it Ubat? Ubat.
Yes, sir. Hubert, sir.
Okay, good. From your introduction, you said you have a background in is it petrochemical or chemical engineering, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so in the last few minutes, can you just looking at what I've said so far, can you just tell me where you think segmentation could be applied within that industry, even with your little understanding of what you've done at undergraduate level?
Okay. So segmentation. So basically, what we've done so far, we talked about segmentation being running things to units and portions. And then there are two types of segmentation being used: the normal segmentation and then the predictive segmentation. Normal segmentation has to do with the traditional segmentation with regular data, while predictive has to do with it has to do more of an insight. It still uses particular factors, but these factors are determined, using the AI algorithm that have been set up. So now to use this sort of technology in the oil and gas industry, segmentation in the oil and gas industry, let's use, for instance, trying to study the rate at which pressure changes within a well. So the normal thing is that pressure changes with depth. So traditional data in this case would just be you collecting pressure readings at different points in time, at different depths as well. But in predictive modeling could probably take into case volume, because volume also affects pressure and also determines some other factors in the oil and gas industry. So we have volume, pressure gradients, probably gas gradients, and all whatnot, oil and gas ratio inside the well. So in this case, the normal segmentation only deals with, like, should I say, simple sort of data that like we call the traditional data, while AI or the predictive segmentation has to do with much more data to determine things. You could also work with sound, sonic logs within the world to also determine that.
All right, thanks a lot. And it shows that we're actually on the same page. So, in that case now, we've probably been at building a machine learning models to segment all these stuff. Then you can start looking at things around the weather. So, what was the weather this same period last year? So, because that might affect, maybe there was maybe rain fell, and when we have rainfall, other things might get into place of how pressure or maybe weather, climate. So there are a lot of things you now need to bring on board that might not be, that you yourself as an individual might not even spot. And that might not have been able to spot, because you are doing your basic analysis of these things affected based on the depth or based on pressure. These are just the normal traditional way of, I just have my data on Excel. I just say, okay, let's put in these things, and so that shows we are actually progressing and also on the same page. Because what I want to arm us with is not just about talking about segmentation in banking, but understanding the concept of segmentation and how it affects individual units of even our background, basically. So let me just share my own life experience with you. I read biochemistry as my first degree. Okay, but I'll probably tell you that today, machine learning and AI is being used across the part, majorly in the industry, in terms of gene sequencing, using it for gene sequencing, DNA matching, and also even most of the analysis being developed to probably test this COVID. There's something called polymerase chain reaction. All these things, if you look at it in the advanced world, are being powered by high-level machine learning and algorithms. And even now, there are research into trying to close things on the causes of cancer cells, why some cells just go malignant, or from benign to malignant, and then turn to full-blown cancer. So these are things, and these are areas where machine learning and AI is being applied. Before, the probably have told you that if you are a female, because probably you probably take smoked fish or smoked meat for suya, chances of having cancer is on the high side. But now it's been clear that a lot of things are behind that. Even some people are not having history of taking all these things, but they might still have some cells that might go malignant. It could be generational, it could be things around their DNA, or something around mutation happening. So we should look at this whole segmentation beyond just the looking at today. We should look at it, how does it affect the industry you find yourself today? Because as a data scientist, you might not end up in a bank, you might not end up in telco, you find yourself in a meteorological company or organization where you have to predict weather or likelihood of hurricane happening and stuff like that. And you need to first start by even looking at the data you have, putting them in pieces to now start putting things together. So thanks for that. So we'll continue. So I'm going back to my screen. Okay, so I'm back. So we're talking about segmentation scenes. I think it would be nice to even look at, why are we doing this? Why do we need to segment our customers? Or why do we want to put in that effort to do that data scrubbing, data gathering, scrubbing, and even then presenting or building models that you now make operational? One is lower acquisition cost. So what happens in this case is banks, organizations or banks can deploy more personalized initiatives that increase the likelihood of customers becoming their customer. So I give you a scenario. If today maybe I've been used to the traditional way of banking, where I can only use my ATM on my bank's terminal. But however, I know that the other computers have been offering my friends ability to use their ATM or even customize their ATM card, their ATM card with their pictures. Okay, customize their ATM card with their pictures and need to use that card on any terminal without saying you can only use my ATM card on this website or on this terminal. So the solution will help us with low acquisition cost, where bank can deploy personalized initiative and targeted individuals based on their needs. Okay, so we'll talk about something like the look-alike model. So another way, another benefit of automation is the increased sales. What this means that it's something called like let's use a term to say know your customer, right? Try to look at maybe your customer spending habits or other stuff like that. If you understand your customer spending habits, maybe where they even use their, like let me give you a scenario. If I run a model today and I try to look at spending habits of my customers to see where they use their card, and I notice that they use the card mostly maybe in hotels. Look at which hotels are they using card. You say somewhere in the hotel, maybe Saturn Sun Hotel. I can target those two hotels to say if anybody comes with my card to your terminal or to your hotel, give them 10% discount. Do you know what that means? I have more customers visiting or even willing to use their cards on those terminals because they know they get a discount. From there, my own sales get increased. I have more other benefits I get from that. So this will allow us to understand our customers' interest, their habits, and so from there, banks are no kind of solution they can offer, leading to increase in revenue. At that point, when they put in their card, you can also push some other product to them. So say if you probably use your card 3 times on this terminal, you tend to get this. And you know that when they get these new products when they onboard this new product, there are other fees and other transaction fees they will generate using those new products. So another one is our customer lifetime value. This is ability for us to have a customer. So I give you a scenario of this lifetime value is you as a person, let's assume your parents open an account for you while you are still a baby, maybe with with bank ABC, and that bank ABC keeps monitoring you as you progress from toddler to primary school, secondary school, and they keep offering you products that meet your needs. So tell me, there won't be any reason for you to leave that bank. To the level that when you started your first work or you got your first employment, you notice that you got something and you notice that this happens to be a salary, and it's a specific SMS or email was sent to you, congratulating you on your first employment. You feel appreciated, and you feel like, oh man, these people, I need to, they've got my loyalty. You get a point now. They've got my loyalty, so I need to just. So that's the whole customer lifetime value prediction, and this can only be done if you probably put in the right segment and able to target customers based on what they need at the point of onboarding, and to ensure that the revenue is kept with you over time through the customer's lifetime. So this segmentation can also help us to decrease or reduce churn. Churn is nothing but someone that's been using your services before decided to use it again. So someone has been coming to buy, maybe I run a retail store. Someone has been coming to buy water from my shop, or a customer that has been banking with me that have been depositing maybe 20 naira or 200,000 per day, or is using my terminal. And all of a sudden, that customer has got to come in again in the last 1, 2, 3 months. Then after 6 months, customer is no longer active again. So what segmentation will help us do is that it will help us to personalize experience for our retail customers. So I give you a scenario of that where segmentation will have come in and where it's being used in the banking today. Some banks today, when you go to their ATM terminal, once you put in your card, okay, the screen you get differs from individuals to the other. If I put in my card on some terminals, I get a different screen. When some other people put in their card on that same terminal, they get a different screen. And that screen offer them different products. It's based on the analysis they've done on those customers. So by giving you that personalized experience, okay, increase the customer satisfaction. And know when there's customer satisfaction, everything we do, it leads to customer retention, the brand loyalty, and but ultimately there will be a decrease in churn rate. And also look at it in terms of marketing campaigns. Segment segment can help banks to determine how best to attract new customers, bring back brand loyalty and promotion. So we'll just go to the two-stage traditional approach of two-stage traditional approach of building a segmentation based on what we explained. So the traditional approach is, if you look at what you have on screen, where I said identify the segment based on existing data, that is characteristics of the client, financial services need. Okay, so where you have high similarity with segments, there's a decision box that says whether it's yes or no. What is why? Choice of first segment, target segment based on cost or benefit. So we're looking at you have some data points you put together. Okay, so when you've done that, what happens in this case is we bucket these segments or these attributes together. Customers that have similar attributes are packed as together into a segment. So let's assume in this class, like I said earlier, we all have something in common because we have relationship with Octave Analytics, right? But within that same group, there might be other things that differentiate us. People maybe the same background or attend the same school. So if you look at people that attend the same school, maybe Unilag, Uniport, Harvard, Cambridge, or people that study similar courses, you can start creating sub-segments. But remember that at the end of the day, I said something earlier, all these things we are doing is to increase our profit. So far we said we are not a non-profit organization. We are here to make profit. So in that case, the segment will be creating together, or we will be creating or try to make customers or people into. We will consider the cost and benefits. How much will it cost? How much will it take us to put these people in the same bucket? And what are the benefits on it? So that would determine the choice of first stage target. And when that is done, we prepare targets, we prepare all these guys based on that. Okay. In case they have fewer similarities, we'll go ahead and do another second stage validation. Okay, we can now bring in their buying units, concept of how they buy things or their spending pattern and go. Okay, once that is achieved, I can see then we can track more things to them. Okay, we now base these guys, we now go back and subject these guys to the same cost benefits that we applied to the guys that made the first criteria before we end up having a profile that we can have for segmentation. In the advanced or new way of doing things is where we talk about where we use machine learning and AI. Okay, so a typical example of what, like I said earlier, a typical example probably start is, I don't even know this customer, but I want to be able to segment them. So in this case, I'm not going by the fact that this person is of this age bracket, this person is of this ethnic group, this person belongs to this country, this person is of this religious denomination. No. Okay. In this case, all I will just do is identify all the data points that I need. I don't even know what we'll probably get in it. Okay, and try to build. I'll have a business case to say I want to do X, Y, Z. I want to achieve this, and that's my target. Then I'll start my data preparation. What I mean by data preparation is, you go ahead and start looking at what are the getting data. You analyze your data to see where. So look at a scenario. I probably pick something around maybe spend pattern. Then I've seen some customers that have outliers. So another customer has been spending say 2 naira. Then there's someone that just spent 200 million. So all this suspicious data, I start noticing them. Then with your understanding, because this comes with understanding of how you can deal with data and your understanding of how you pass message across to the end users. Okay. Then I spend a lot of time with my data preparation before I end up selecting a model. So when I select a model this time around, I'll probably pick an unsupervised learning model, a public clustering technique. I put it on my data set after preparation, cleaning it up, to churn out all these various things that I might not even spot. Even going by traditional way of say I want to segment them based on age or all those things that we all know. Okay. Then what happens after then? There's something called hyperparameter tuning to ensure that we don't or maybe uh, manage the parameter well to ensure that it fits into the right plot and we have the right result. So it's not like we are making this thing to shift towards or to be biased towards a particular result, or it's not even meeting up to the expectation based on what we define in our business case. And then the last part, which is more important, is no matter how good your model is, okay, if you can't present it to your end users and you can't really interpret the result, all the effort you've had in 1, 2, 3, 4 is of no use, which is visualization. Visualization is nothing but ensure that whatever you've done, your model, the pattern you've applied and co, can be easily read to the end users. And you can easily speak to the result and even put them through what you've done, because questions will be asked to say, how do you arrive at this guy? How do you want us to believe in this model? To say this model will do X, Y, Z, or this activity will be carried out, or I should go ahead and buy into this model to say I should use this model to run my campaign. Hello, sorry, I lost my network a bit. Can you still see my screen?
Yes.
sir.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, okay. Thanks a lot. So if you look at it, the end product of everything we're talking about is, even when you do go to traditional way of doing things, is this visualization part and result interpretation. No matter how good a model is, if you can't visualize it, put in a way that the end user can interact with, or something they can easily read or put meaning to, all our effort as a data scientist or data analyst has gone down the drain. So, in as much we do all these business case, data preparation, model selection, we need to also focus on this visualization and result interpretation. So, I think that should be my last slide. So, that's the high level of how solution is being used or in banking, and I'll give the floor to Tope so that we can ask questions and answers, and then maybe we can close for the day.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for a wonderful session. So well packed and, in fact, very, very insightful. I know a lot of us have actually soaked in a whole lot of knowledge as regards customer segmentation, and we're just really, really happy that we had you today. I think before we have rooms for questions, I just want to quickly do a little recap of what was being said. There are a lot of great and awesome things that were being said, and I hope a lot of people were jotting down like I did. So, of course, our experts spoke today about segmentation, what it means, and basically, before we had segment was built around demographic data, but it's no longer relevant today. Now, segments are based on the digital behaviors and of customers, and products and services are then tailored to satisfy their needs. And our expert also talked about why we build segments. Of course, it's to increase competitive advantage. It's to address customer specific needs, cross and upselling opportunities. And it's also to help identify new products that existing and potential customers could be interested in. Our expert also went on to talk about the types of segmentation. We have the normal segmentation and predictive segmentation. And also he spoke about the benefits as well. He also spoke about how customer segmentation is a huge application in machine learning, especially as regards supervised learning. And he also talked about some of the activities in that regard. You have your business case, data preparation, model selection, parameter tuning, and visualization. So I know a lot has been said today, and I know a lot of people are burning with questions. So I think now we'll just give room for questions. If you have any questions, just please signify by a show of your hands, or you can always type your questions if you want to. Okay, yes. So Mr. Richard has a question. Oh yeah, wow, a lot of hands already. So let's start with Mr. Richard. So Richard, you have the floor. You can ask your question.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Ayodeji.
Yeah, thank you, Richard. You're welcome. Okay, tell me.
So, I noticed you talked about customer segmentation in this lecture. So I would like to ask, if we are looking at breaking into the financial sector in Nigeria,
Okay.
what other use cases can we actually look into and do more research on it in the financial sector? Because I'm sure this is not the only use case you work with in the financial sector. I just want to know more of your use cases that we can, on our own and my colleagues, we can go into more in-depth research on. This now.
Okay. Okay. Thanks for that. So, one use case which I think is a pain to all industry, not just financial sector, is the churn analytic use case. Because, like I said, remember I said something at the beginning of this session that we are all see, it's either you are a profit organization or not a non-profit organization. So if you are a profit organization, you need to keep your customer. Even a non-profit organization needs to even keep those customers that have been patronizing them. So one thing that is key and is common across all industries basically is the churn model, which looks at what's the probability of this person leaving my service or not using my service again. Because remember, you want to make money, and the more you have people using your service, the better for you. So my kind of advice is, if anything you probably want to do around banking or any other industry, look at the churn model, which is very, very key. So I'll probably say that's the main one you should probably look at. Then segmentation that we discuss is around knowing the kind of products you're going to offer to those customers basically. So to me, there are a lot of use cases, but I'll probably tell you these two use cases are very, very important to the financial industry.
Okay, sir. Thanks so much for the answer.
You're welcome.
Okay, so we'll also have Sunday Oguleye. You can go ask your question. You have the floor.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. I want to ask, looking at this predictive segmentation and doing it an automated modeling, I want to know if actually maybe we've segmented some customers, maybe based on their income, and uh, will this predictive be see a customer as an outlier in one particular segment? Maybe before now I segment, okay, fine, this particular these people are 2 naira, these people are 5 naira. Maybe this 2 naira just all of a sudden change to a customer that now make an income of maybe 10 naira. With this predictive model, look deep down into this aspect and see this person as an outlier and take it to the other segment.
Okay, thanks for that. Remember, I mentioned something around the data preparation, right? That most of the efforts we probably deal with when we're looking at using machine learning or AI to do with all these things is most will be spent on the data preparation. But that doesn't mean that you might not have outliers coming with the stream or pipeline, data pipeline. And that's the reason why all these things will have been documented. To say, based, and when I said something around interpretation of the result as well, based on the fact that we've done this model, these are the chances that this person or this individual belongs to this bucket based on what we've done. However, in case any data comes in that try to throw that or out, you will see, even you as an individual, by the time you visualize or view this, you'll probably see the spike. You might need to start going, now, you might need to do a walk back through the data pipeline. And that's why anything we do as well, please, whether you're doing traditional way or the machine learning way, documentation is very key. You need to document things, please, and don't be like the olden days developers that find it difficult to even put some little documents in place when developing solutions. Please, if you document it and know your pipeline, you see an anomaly after a while, because normally this thing will deploy to production, and you'll be monitoring this performance over time, and that's why you see this tuning comes in. Because at times you might see that the the performance of what is giving you is like 90%. By next week, you see that that thing has decreased to like 60 or 70%. That means you need to go and check your source system. Look at data that is feeding in. So that's the only way you probably know, by continuous monitoring once this whole model has been operationalized. So if you look at this whole, so people have talked about DevOps. So Papa will just tell you about what you look at here is the machine learning operations basically. You've done your part as developer. This thing has been handed over to the operations team, right? You need to guide them, putting them through on basic checks or things you need to have in place. Because in a standard environment and enterprise, once you develop a model, you push it to the operations team to support. You go in and move into another model. You won't be there every day. It's only the feedback given to you by the operations team to say, okay, we looked at this thing accuracy before used to be 90% or 99%. I'm just giving a scenario. And then suddenly it drops to like 90 to like 80%. That means, or from 90 to like 60. That means something has changed. It's either a data element has come into that stream or pipeline of what you use for your model, or someone has gone to change the parameter somewhere. So those are the way you can spot it. And once you spot, you go back to your document that you documented, or you do a walk back to look at where that could have happened. And once you see it, you need to agree with the business how best to go about those outliers. Because at times, I don't want to, I'll probably tell you, don't see yourself as a typical IT or a techie enthusiast. Just want to do things and just move on. The business needs to carry along most of these decisions. So that's the only way you probably spot when there are outliers, because your model performance or model accuracy will be affected when bad data comes in with that model. I don't know if that addressed your concern basically.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
All right, you're welcome.
Okay, so and we have Hubert. So yes, you have the floor. You can ask your question.
Okay, good afternoon, sir. Yeah, thank you very much for making our time to have this class with us. It's very insightful. What I wanted to ask is, you pointed out about predictive method and how it uses AI and algorithms. So while doing this, you also mentioned it using unsupervised learning. So I would love, well, my question here is, what tools are used for these sort of things, or sort of predictive models, and
Okay.
how, what exactly do you mean? Like, 'cause I've heard about unsupervised learning before. Is it that the machine or your algorithm has the, like, has the ability of, spotting out new data by itself without you having to add them new factors to factor into its predictive model? And I would like to know if there's anything around that. Really appreciate
Okay. To start, let me just recap if I get the question right. Is around Can you just, sorry, can I just try, because you have like two, three questions. So can you just give the first one, please? Just tell me first one, then I'll.
Okay, yeah, I think it's just one question. Okay, what tools are used?
Okay, tools. Okay,
The
so
tool.
tools varies, and why I've been a bit careful throwing tools names around, right? Is
Okay.
that I believe if you're an expert, if I'll share my own experience, and this is what my own belief, and I believe that's what should be. If you're an expert in machine learning, right? Tools should not be your major issue or major concern. That am I going to use R or Python? The first thing you need to understand is how does this process runs end to end. Okay, and that's why I don't know if you guys notice I deliberately not mention or throw or a tool at you guys to say I run my R, I put in my Python, or I go in and use Azure machine learning or go to AWS. No. So if you understand what exactly you're doing, the science or the fundamental behind these terms and stuff like that, okay, it's not left for you because environment differs. You might get to environment A and they might tell you they use R, okay? You might get to environment B, they might tell you they use Python. As an expert, you should be able to flip or switch because all these codes are just having little variation. The same concept, the same way I do 1+1 and maybe using Oracle, the same way I'll probably go and do 1+1 using Express Server. So try to fixate your mind to say I only do R. It won't be necessary. So looking at this, there are different tools or different solution or software out there that probably you can use to run your models. It's about you. What the main thing is for you to understand what exactly you are driving at. Okay, and look at the environment to find yourself. Because as an expert, you and if let's assume you and even let's assume you work as a consultant. Consultant will not just tell you I can only do Python. If you go to a site and they tell you they have tools XYZ, you need to be to adjust accordingly to deliver because the main thing you understand the concept. It's not for you to bring the concept in into the tool to get the result. So there are lot of tools you probably could use out there, and I've just leaving not to mention all those tools because I thought I won't just start fixating your mind towards a tool should be used for this. And because I also know that the program you guys are on is not just about tools; it's about you being ready, prepared for the industry. Okay, so there is Python. There are a lot of machine learning tools out there in the industry basically.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. And my second question has to do with how the um, unsupervised learning is carried out by the
Okay.
algorithm. Yeah, what
Okay,
could you
remember. Okay, okay. Remember, I said something earlier that the traditional way of doing segmentation has always been that I know you, Albert. You are from River State, right? You maybe study petrochemical engineering. I have all this data stored. I usually go there and put in my code, and I start telling people that are like Albert and say these people belong to the same segment. Let me offer them this product. That happens to be the traditional way. And I'm saying that in that same system, people that looks like Albert, that will probably think are Port Harcourt based, or maybe are from Port Harcourt, or have studied petrochemical engineering. There might be other 1,001 people or 1,000,001 people in that same database or that same data set that doesn't belong to Port Harcourt like you, but share a lot of attributes with you. Okay, in that case, another just put in a code or put in SQL or try to start data will not just give you or saying based on my understanding, Albert and these people have things in common. Remember my introductory session when I said segmentation, it's about attributes or things they have in common. A machine learning and not unsupervised machine learning, when applied, we go into the system once you pick all these attributes out and start identifying patterns that you yourself might not be able to spot with using your relative intelligence or trying to say based on this, Albert and Mr. B have things in common. Okay, so that's where unsupervised machine learning comes in. It's like when you have a model or you have a data set and you don't even know what exactly you are aiming at. You don't even know what to expect. You go in for unsupervised machine learning to first go and help you detect to look for previously undetected patterns in your data set with no existing labels or anything that can say this person is type of this person. So that's where the machine learning comes in. So in this case, you probably use the clustering method because that is from the word clustering. It means that it's trying to create clusters. It might end up creating like 1,001 clusters for you. You now look at based on the priority or the percentage of accuracy to look at which one are you going to pick or deal with, which one are you going to get this in. Okay. So what's the third question again?
I think that's my final question.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, sir.
All right. Yeah.
Okay, sir, we have a question here. This person says, please, can you throw more light on the concept of hyperparameter tuning as one of the activities in using machine learning?
Okay. So what the hyperparameter is nothing but looking at the fact that remember at the beginning when we're designing our model, we'll have identified some parameters to probably be our predictors to say, okay, based on this, if all these things conditions are met, or this and this should be done, or this and this should be probably the likely result. So what we're doing in this hyperparameter is nothing but trying to ensure that we adjust all our available parameters to meet a certain condition that we set as an accepted criteria. So I'm saying that I've given someone a job to paint paint my living room, paint my car. At the point of giving that job, I already have started to say this is what I can probably take from you as an accepted criteria to say this my car has been painted well. Okay, the same way goes into when you're modeling. When you're modeling, you have different parameters you set in and variables you probably moved in and code. So say, okay, I want to build this model. Then you run the model and then you see the result. And the result doesn't seem to be okay with you. All you need to do at that point is start adjusting those parameters. So say if I increase this or I include this, will I get my desired result? Or if I take this out and include this new variable, will this new variable inclusion or including this variable, will it give me the appropriate result? So all these parameters is nothing but trying to adjust, play around with variable to ensure that you get the desired result or a model that can be deployed to production.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. We have someone here who, Daniel, would like to ask you a question. So, Daniel, you have the floor. You can ask your question.
Okay, thank you very much, sir, for explaining hyperparameterization. I have a couple of questions, about three of them.
Okay.
First off, I'd love to ask about the now when after you select your model, after doing your model, you've launched it. Do is there space to update the model frequently? As new customers are coming in, as they are doing, old customers, existing customers are doing new stuffs. Is the model self updating by itself, or you are on a weekly basis? There's maintenance on the data pipeline that are using the model pipeline.
So
Uh,
the model will not, so let me just guide our thoughts here, and I'll say so. The way the model will work is you develop the model and then deploy the version. In the standard environment, that model will have been handed over to the support team, the operational team. So when new customers are coming in and you are applying that model, it depends on kind of what you are trying to achieve. Maybe you're trying to look at, you have a model to say, I want to offer this product. So when new customers are being supplied in into that model, and you get your based on the new customer data set being added, to even predict who are those customers or where they belong to, which segment. And you notice that everybody has been getting, if not the same result over time. That means the accuracy has always been static, or you use that before you used to get, when you put in a customer to see this customer which segment you like to belong to, and you know that you're getting results that doesn't seem to make sense. Even you as an expert, and even the person in the operation managing it probably tell you something is wrong. So over time, these models will have to be, you need to be fine-tuning them regularly. It's not something that you just deploy and say I've deployed and I will leave. I will not check back again. Because the source data keep changing, and the more you review the model, and it's a part of this whole tuning to say, these things have changed, or is this thing still, all these assumptions that was all these assumptions that were made then, are they still valid at this point? Can we still assume that if XYZ is done this way, this guy might have given us this result? So over time, the model will not be left unattended to. It's something that will keep reviewing, updating in conjunction with the person in operation supporting this model. Because remember that as a developer or as a data or big data architect or analyst or developer, find yourself, you review you build the model, you deploy production. So when the production data start coming in, you start applying it on it. Because remember that while developing the model, you have taken different samples and to get to that stage. It's not like you just take your old database and apply the model on it. You are probably taking some sample data set to build the model, start fine-tuning it, apply it more and more on your customer base before you decide to roll it out to production. And when you roll it out to production, over time, your customer behavior will change. So you should be able to change the model along that same customer behavior. So it's something. It's an ongoing effort, basically. It's not something that you just develop once and you leave there. You just okay, well, I've done my bits as a developer. Let the person of the support this thing. I have to. So in that you want to go to another model or stuff to develop another model, you need to work closely with the operations team supporting those models to ensure that you get counter feedback if there is need to fine tune the model or to review the data source, because data source could change at times and then make the whole model that you built not accurate again. So I don't know if that answers the question or if you got that question.
yes, Yes, that does. Thank you very much, sir. Okay, my next questions, I have just about two of them more. They are from the non-technical aspect perspective. You said you studied biochemistry. I would
Yes.
like to ask, how was the transition from biochemistry to being an MIS analytics specialist? And
Okay, so
I
let
also
me
like
just
to
answer that
ask.
so that I won't
Okay,
miss that.
no problem,
So,
sir.
one thing I'll probably say and I'll probably share with you is what matters most in life, in our in our pursuit of success in life is the self-determination. Okay, you can even study Yoruba and still be an IT or tech or data guru, but you need to understand that you can only be the limit to what you as an individual, we as an individual can only be the limit of what we can achieve. Okay, so I don't see transitioning to be a challenge basically. So far, you probably have an end state, you know your target goal, okay, and you try to work and push yourself towards that target basically. So today, let's assume you say, okay, the next 2 months, I want to be certified in XYZ. You need to start coming up with a plan. How do I achieve that target in 2 months' time? Come up with a plan and follow the plan. But one thing I will tell you is that anything you want to do that doesn't have a plan, it's going to be difficult achieving that. As it is today, when I still lay my hands on things, I still try to put it down on paper, even attach it to my door to see it every day. And this is what I'm targeting, I'm looking at. So that's my own personal view and perspective. It's about how you can push yourself and setting the right target and visualizing this target. This target must be smart, something that you can really measure, and then you can really track, basically. So, what's the last question, please?
Okay, thank you very much for that, sir. My last question is, what's your average day at work?
The what?
You
Hello?
were looking at our generation of your average day at work. Can you hear me,
Um,
sir?
okay,
Hello?
average day at work. Okay.
Yes, sir. And
Um. Okay, and what?
looking at our own generation of data enthusiasts, what kind of skills were you looking out for if you were to take in some people, or what kind of skills, maybe soft skills, hard skills, you really advise us to focus more on in terms
Okay,
of breaking into this industry?
okay. So to be frank with you, we've not really started this data journey. This is just the beginning. So when I moved to data journey, then like 10, 11 years ago, I thought we started. But over time, things keep evolving. So one thing I'll probably advise as you start your career in data analytics or big data stuff is you need to move with time. Because if you don't move with time, a small boy that was just going back today, 2010, will just come in with a new technology that will supply all your effort. So things that you've been doing for like 3 hours, one guy will just come something that will do it in 30 minutes. And that guy will be given the job or probably be paid the money to get it done. So I would rather advise you, all of us on this call, not to see ourselves as a stagnant rock that is not ready to move or learn new things or acquire new skills. Because we're not careful, all the skills we have will become obsolete and new technologies will take over. And then people start complaining, I don't know, I'm not getting job. I don't know why people don't like me. It's not like nobody likes anybody, basically. It's about what you can offer. Anywhere you find yourself, make yourself relevant. Okay? This is for all of us. Anywhere you find yourself, any industry you find yourself, make yourself relevant to the enterprise. So when they're saying they want to disengage people in services, it will be difficult for them to disengage you. Make yourself relevant. And remember, like I said, two entities will run. It's either you're public organization or non-profit. Anywhere you find yourself, always try to align with the goal of that organization. Let me share an experience with you. When during my days in Access Bank, I happen to be an IT guy, but the bank has a goal to drive liability. That means balance account growth and balances, right? As an IT guy, I also took care of myself that by the few period I have, I also probably go out my period, my free period to get customers for the bank, to get new customers or board new customers. I've seen myself go out with my other colleagues to Lagos Island to go and open an account. I don't see it as a challenge. I see it as an opportunity for me to learn some new skills I've never had. There are some soft skills you need to learn as if you want to really progress far. Everything technical will not take us far until we start to try to strike a balance with technical and the soft skill. In striking a balance with the soft skill is you trying to put yourself in the position of the end user, the person making the request. To say, why is the person making this request? What can I do to help this person solve the problem? So always have that mindset of, I need to solve a problem. There's a challenge, I need to solve that challenge. And put yourself in the place of the person doing or requesting that, making that request. And ensure things are done. There is no that if you can just try to abide with all these things. I bet you that the sky will not even be the limit. It will just be the beginning of your journey in this data world, because it's not really started in Nigeria, not even the entire world. I've had people that have passed through me in my former place of work. They've left for the US. One of them is in Dublin. Two of them are in US, in San Francisco, doing well. One in Texas. They've gone for masters and they are doing fine. And I have people that are in Nigeria here that are doing fine. About 2 or 3 of them, they are other multinationals, not even banking again. They've left banking. So it's about the same skill that you have. That's why I said having an understanding of this core concept matters a lot. Before you start picking on tools, I want to learn Python, I want to learn R. What am I doing? What is the rationale behind this activity I want to carry out? If you understand that, then you can pick up any tool so that you can easily move from industry to one another. Because at the end of the day, we are here today in Octave. You don't know whether your first job might even be in telco, or maybe in an insurance company, or maybe in a government agency. Not even all these big industry. Maybe a government will be the one to give you the first job. They say they want to do something around one data, so they want to produce all that one. So these are the soft skills you need to have. Try to have the use customer empathy for customer basically, and I think with that we all do well.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. I think we have one more. We have someone here. Oh my God, the questions keeps pouring in. Okay, so very quickly, Emmanuel, I think you should go on with your question, and then we will have Adedeji Adetoro have his questions asked. So Emmanuel, you have the floor. Please, very quickly. Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Mr. Olariwaju has done well. He has spoken well.
Yes.
Yes, like he's just speaking like a prophet. Like he's just touching every side, every corner. He's speaking my mind. He's actually speaking my mind. Yeah, so before I ask my question, back then in school, we used to do something like maybe a lecturer give us assignment or give you classwork, and like someone is now doing something out of the box. They're like, I will send you. Like they used to call them the boy is good. So, but then most people write in their CV that they can work with little or no supervision. So if you are in an organization and what you just do is everything they give, just exactly what they give to you, that's what you do, then you're not really adding value. So that doesn't really make more sense to the organization, because you're not really adding value to the organization. If it's just what they give you, you just do and submit. So you become more irrelevant. You become more relevant than someone that adds new things to the organization and makes the organization move forward. So it's all about developing yourself and adding value to the organization. So to my question, sir, you talked about customer life value. I don't know, customer life value model. I don't know if I got that right.
Lifetime value.
Okay, the lifetime value, yeah. So you said you focus on customers that generate more revenue. I don't know if I get that right too. Did I get
I
that
think
right, sir?
no. So customer lifetime value is nothing but trying to look at how you can how you can keep a customer within your to keep enjoying your services, okay, so that you can make more revenue from that customer. It's like lifetime. So as like I gave example earlier, you as a person, let's assume you have a kid that just gave birth, and You open, say, bank, you open an HSBC account for as a toddler. Okay, and I start tracking that kid from 1 month to 1 year, a year to 10 years, 20 years, and I keep offering different products and services to that kid. The longer I keep that customer within my network or within my enterprise to be a customer that uses my service, the more I make revenue from that customer, and the lesser the chance of that customer leaving me to a competitor. I don't get my point now.
All right, all right. That's
Yeah.
very fast. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, we do have Adedeji Adetoro. He has a question. So you have the floor. You can ask your question, Adedeji.
Thank you, Tim Tokwe. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for your time. Okay, I'll just like to ask, as an expert in the industry, what do you foresee to be the minimum challenge a junior data analyst will be having in the financial sector, like probably in our first 3 months? Say?
Okay. To be frank, the challenge basically will be because now as much you start a career, you need to have a mentor. Okay. I'll tell you down straight up. You need to have a mentor. You need to have someone that you can really call up when you want to challenges. Okay. Nobody will expect you to probably leave a training program after 3 months and expect to be an expert overnight. And secondly, this is for us. When you go for interviews, and I'll tell you guys, I've conducted interviews, I've lost kind of interviews I've conducted across all where I've worked. It's nice to be true. It will be nice we are truthful on our CVs. And when people ask questions, if something is beyond what you can, just tell them, oh, politely, this I think I've heard before, I can't really collect again. Okay, there's no crime in it. There's no crime in lying. There is crime in lying, not saying the truthful things or saying things the way you know it, and try to get the job by all means. Because when you lie your way to get the job, when you get on that job, there'll be so much expectation on you that you find it to even survive. Then it will probably go from someone that has been on number one position to maybe number 30 or number 40. So what matters most basically is be truthful to yourself. This is what I can do, but if I'm given this opportunity, I can do X, Y, Z. So whoever is employing you already knows your capability. He or she knows what it can give to you and what it can give to you to encourage you to learn more. So when I started my own career in data, I started with a consulting firm too before I moved to banking industry. Okay, so there's no case of you saying, I can do X, Y, Z, I can run a Python. So a lot of people just throw things around or throw title around on the internet. Then when we call them for interview, even basic fundamentals, see what the opportunity you guys have today. Only maybe I probably say you guys are like 0.1% of people that have support, 0.001% of people that have the opportunity in the industry today. Okay, for you to of staying down for 3 months, someone putting you through all these things, it's something that is rare. I have to be frank with you. So my advice is to take this opportunity to understand the fundamentals of what you need to survive the industry you find yourself, and be truthful to yourself when you go for interview or assessment. There's a lot of lie trying to lie your way to get a job. If the job belongs to you, you doesn't get it. Let me share experience with you. Shortly before the lockdown in March, we had an interview session and we tried to get a lady in to support our core banking. And we asked her, what do you do at the moment? She said she works for the company, but she's not being paid salary. That she came in at I won't say a training program like this. She said she came in, they did like a campus tech or something, and she was one of the people that passed that campus tech stuff. And she just working with them pro bono. Okay, so how much do you want to earn? She said she doesn't really know what exactly she wanted, but she'll be at XYZ amount will be good for her. If that's your thing, they can pay that amount on you, they will pay. So I would advise us to be truthful to ourselves whenever we go for interview, okay? And to also improve on ourselves when you get on job, the first thing to do is to understand the business you are. So today I tell you, if you find yourself within the telecommunication industry, understand all the business terms, churn, Apple, average revenue per user, all those terms that you come across. If you find yourself today in hospital within the health management system, try to understand the industry, things around hospital management, bed space management, this. If you find yourself in the retail industry, maybe like a Konga or Junior, understand how these web blogs work, retail customer coming back to buy. So you need to as you move from one to the other, the first thing to understand is not about talking about the R Python you want to run. And that's why I didn't say thing. It's about to understand the business you're supporting. If you understand the business you're supporting, your journey in that industry will be a smooth one. So as a junior data or entry level of a data engineer, once you are talking to the person that is your hiring manager, the decision is already set. You can only push yourself and even tell the person to challenge you more to do things. So there should not be any pressure on you. That's why I see it. So that's my own view.
Thank you very much, sir.
All right.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. I don't think we have more questions. And oh my God, I feel like we have been soaked with so much knowledge. I should say this, I have colleagues here listening in and they're like, oh my God, I need to write that down. Oh my God, I need to write that down. This is spot on. It's just a wow experience that we've had. I think I should even share some pointers, some things that our expert has said. I mean, some things that I actually wrote down for myself also. Our expert said it is about what you can offer. Make yourself relevant to your organization and align with the goals of your organization. He also said something. He said, have empathy for your customers. And before you learn tools, know what you want to do and why you want to do them. Be truthful, especially about your capabilities. Understand the business terms in your industry and understand the business you are supporting. And definitely have empathy for your customers. These are things, little nudges that I've also written down myself. And I know if we imbibe them and if we're truthful to these truths, we will definitely go a long way in the industry. That being said, I just want to say it's an honor to have you with us today, and we learned so much from our session with you. Thank you so much, sir, for everything. Thank you for the lecture, for the session. It was very, very insightful. I could go on and on and on. I wish, as I said, I wish it was a physical gathering. I think everyone will be on their feet clapping and just, having this encore moment and stuff. But we just want to show our appreciation, sir, for everything and for your time with us. I know our CEO is on the line. I don't know if you want to just say a couple of things.
Really? Really?
Yes,
it's been how come I didn't spot him? Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm checking for him here now. Oh my God. I've just scrolled out. Hi, Blessing.
Oh, okay. I think maybe he's. I can see his picture here. Yeah, I think I know he would definitely want to say one or two things because I'm still reeling in the whole. Okay, yes, I think he has a meeting somewhere. Okay, so he has a computer here there, and he's also talking with someone. So I guess that's why. But on the behalf of the team, on the behalf of Mr. Blessing and Octave Analytics in general, we want to say thank you very much, sir. I could go on and on. I could go on and on. So everyone, thank you so much again for joining our industry session today. I know you guys had a wonderful time. I think before we go, we could just unmute ourselves and just show our appreciation to our industry experts.
Thank you so much, sir. We are really grateful for your time.
Thanks for your
Thank
time
you so
as
much,
well.
sir. We are really grateful.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your time, sir.
Okay, so
We appreciate your time.
Yeah, I will send the presentation. I will share the presentation slide with Blessing. Sorry, with Blessing, so you guys can have a copy just for you to.
Yes, also. Yes, also.
Yeah. So I will share that with Blessing after this call. Yeah.
That was so wonderful, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome, guys. All right. Thanks a lot, and do have a nice day. And please stay safe.
You too.
Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you. Okay. All right.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone, and bye.
Bye.
Baba Blair, he left. I put
Hello, Yola.
What
I'm here. I'm here.
How are you doing now?
Fine, thank you.
So, Hubert has left the call.
He has left already.
What is like? Ah, okay, okay. So how was the session? How was the session?
I really enjoyed this session. I really, really enjoyed this
You
session.
enjoyed, you enjoyed it, you enjoyed it, right?
I enjoyed it too. I really
It's
enjoyed
a
it.
wow, it's a wow. The guy was just on point. Was just speaking like a prophet, like just touching every news, like
E-
seriously. So,
Exactly. The fact
so
that he took time to make us understand that, guys, you learn the tools is coming, but learn the know the roots, know
yes,
the
just it's
background.
just not the science and art behind it, not about the
Yes.
tool. So that's what I'm usually it's just that guys of this century now
Oh, in your
they
is that
just
in
want
your
to
lab?
when they see want to they will quickly go and learn it. Another tool should come out, they will say they want to go and learn that. So they are just about the tools, they are not learning
Salima
the
was
concept.
impressed with everything he said
It's the concept
today.
that is very important. So Temitope said she's impressed that yeah. No. I mean, this guy is a great guy. This guy, Iola Daniel, is a great guy.
Was it the one that came that day?
Yes, that is sat here.
Oh,
So the guy is a great guy. The guy is a good guy. Iola, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you
yeah,
clearly.
no,
No, you shouldn't.
I was really
You shouldn't be
impressed.
hearing this. You shouldn't be hearing this.
No,
But I'm
he
impressed.
made
I'm
me.
impressed. Seriously.
I feel
So,
like it's pretty well.
so keep it up. Keep it up. Keep it up. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank
All
you
right.
very much.
Bye.
I really appreciate it. Bye. Take care.
Anyone still on the call? Itamuno Tonichuku.
Why are they on the call? They don't want to leave. The man was just putting so much sense that they want to quickly pack everything.
Maybe Cole is still on the call. I'm removing everybody now. You guys should leave. You guys should leave.
Sorry, you guys should leave. They don't want to leave. Look, our next speaker should be able to. I beg, the man, guys, person should raise the bar. I mean, this person has actually raised the bar, so they should do well now.